So I don't have a graphic for the WCR Championship match, but it was Prince Mahali versus Tigo, which was one of the brothers. The brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers. So, yeah, they won and things. We also had another pre-show match. It was Flex Zerba defeating Damon Windsor. This was where we had, I think it was Discount Taker Chance. Or Walmart Taker Chance. I forget which one it was, but it was funny. I laughed.
Mm-hmm.
So the match was originally supposed to be the North versus Rich Swann and Fuego del Sol. Rich Swann obviously did not make it, so it ended up being Retro Randy. Retro Randy and Fuego had great chemistry. And they went 13 minutes against the North.
Yes.
It's a real strong outing.
Mm-hmm.
Dug it. I liked it. I want some more of it. Kiera Hogan, do you have any thoughts on Retro Randy and Fuego del Sol versus the North? No. What was that floating Muppet? Yep. Is that what he said?
I'm not sure who you're referring to.
I will send you a message on Discord after the show because I believe you will remember him.
Okay.
So Kiera Hogan took on Desi Doretta, and this was a really strong outing for Kiera Hogan. She won via countout after she lured Desi outside, ran back into the ring, doing the long pacing around the ring. Slid back in at the 9 count, 10, she gets the win. Very conniving, cheap way to win, but it's also very fitting for her Girl on Fire persona. I dug it.
Yes.
Real strong outing.
I agree.
Sami Callihan took on Hawk next, and he got a lot of airtime this week. This was, I believe, Hawk's better outing because I believe he was able to showcase more against Sami Callihan than he did against Moose, at least stuff that wasn't just repetitive taking bumps from Moose. There's a great spot where he did this corkscrew, sidewinder, clothesline thingy from the ramp onto Sami. I was really impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to call it. It was a twisty. It was a bunch of twisties. Then he went in cacao, and then Sami went, oh, no. I did realize one thing. Sami's gotten fat.
Sami what?
Sami's gotten fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has. This was even, I think, even the match where Sami's slimmed down some. He's like,
that more like he moved the slim to another part of his body.
Yeah.
Now I understand why he wears the vest so often.
Yeah.
He needs to hit the treadmill, bro. I'm sorry. I give no one passes. I've said Havoc needs to drop some LBs. I've said Rosemarie needs and did drop some LBs. I've said Eddie needs to drop some LBs. I'm going to say it about you, Sam. You need to drop some LBs, bro. You are an athlete. Look it.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle Hawk, he needs to drop some LBs. Tighten up. But he looked pretty good, too. So, this is actually a really good match. And I don't know why Larry Zonk only gave it 2 out of 2 3/4 stars. I feel like that's a dick move by you. I'm just saying. Just saying there, buddy. Then we had MVP versus Chavito in a World Class Wrestling Championship match, a title match. This was a lot better than their last their Friday night performance. A lot of ground and pound, a lot of strikes. I have no complaints with this match. It wasn't a 5-star classic by any means, but it was enough to get fans interested, and the fans were very excited for this match, so it did its job.
Yeah.
Your opinions of this are fantastic, by the way.
I'm sorry. But I do agree. This one was far better than match Operation Overdrive. Oh, I almost did it. Operation Overdrive. Son of a bitch. Power Rangers. Let's go.
Dun, 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 dun. Stronger than before. Go Zio. Powered up for more. Go Zio. Stronger than before. Zio.
I feel like the part of the problem with the first night was the match. The first night was that I feel Chavo. I feel like was supposed to be the heel of the two, but the first night, like there were a lot of Eddie chants, so he was kind of acting as the face as well. So it the whole kind of dynamic was off, but this one was a lot more clear cut, and I feel like that helped.
Rosemarie versus Taya. We start with a promo to start the match.
Yes.
And Taya was so funny. Rosemary, I've been trying to call you since last night. Why haven't you been answering? Well, because you see, Blonde One, I've blocked your frequency. Taya was just so aghast, like, what? Strong outing. Yes.
I certainly hope that while maybe not, maybe like a match down the road, I certainly hope that there will be more just Rosemary and Taya backstage segments, because those are entertaining.
I hope so. I truly do. Good outing for this match. I liked it. I thought Rosemary was actually going to win for a quick couple seconds, but Taya ends up getting the win. Retains her belt. I really thought that they were going to do another North situation, where the North would beat LAX at one of the shows, but that was not to be. So, unbiased opinion, what did you think of Bonner versus Moose?
Almost knock shit off my desk. Bonner vs. Moose, I thought was just okay. I thought, while how old is Stephen Bonner? Stephen Bonner.
41.
41. And how long has he been wrestling for?
2 years.
Okay, so for him being 41, well, 42 according to Wikipedia, and just started wrestling 2 years ago, I felt that he was good for where he's at, but he's still very green and very awkward. Like when he was trying to do kicks, like kick strikes, it looked like it was very awkward for him to do that without actually making full contact, which understandable.
Yeah, he was a pro fighter for 15 years. He's going to want to make contact. Exactly.
So there were a lot of times during the match where I felt like he was really fighting that mixed martial artist instinct, and trying to be more on the wrestling side. But I thought the match was okay.
That's fair. I think that's fair criticism. I'm reading some of the stuff on 411. Larry Zonka. He's always been a harsh critic. Like there were times when we would watch like a Jerry Lynn Ron Killings match, go, "That was so good," and he'd be like, "It gets 2.5 stars." Whoa, you're a dick. Like honestly, so like I don't put a lot of stock in him as a reviewer. He just always has reviews. That's why we use him. I like this match. I really did. I do agree that it did look like some of his strikes were a little bit pulled back and like he was trying to do things a bit differently. But he did try some cool stuff that I really liked. And he's such a good grappler that when he goes for a limb, it looks as realistic as possible. And I feel like in today's pro wrestling landscape, too many people are looking for the fluidity, the perfect movement, the plancha into a DDT, into a spin around, into a schoolboy, into a submission. Like, no, that's not how a fight works. I hate to break it to you. I was a super big fan of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport back in April. I'm not going to watch the latest one because I don't watch anything with Nick Gage on it. But that style is exactly what I like. And I felt like Bonner brought that style to Impact, and I didn't see any real issue with it. I'm going to rewatch it to see if I missed something. But I thoroughly enjoyed Bonner Moose, and I'm glad they had it. And I can't wait to see Bonner on Impact because he was at the Vegas stuff. So, yay.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that kind of pisses me off about Larry Zonka's reviews. So we had Eddie versus Rowe Heat, which was clearly just done to set up a tag match. But he's still great at it.
Yeah, when you have a classic Teddy Long that's going to build to a tag match, you don't need to grade the initial match because that in and of itself is just a segment to set up the actual match.
And if it wasn't for the fact that Brian Cage wrestling on Saturday was supposed to be a surprise, you just do a segment and then lead into it. But because Brian Cage's return was supposed to be this big thing, I get why they did it. By the way, Bonner did an armbar on Moose on Operation Override, and I forgot to mention that.
He did. Yes. That's right, and that his armbar looks like it will snap.
Yes, because it probably would.
He probably.
He's not fudging around.
Nope.
So Cage comes out. I thought Cage was going to do a bar wrestling kind of performance where he doesn't take any back bumps and he just does a lot of offense. No, he actually took a few bumps.
He did.
So that back must be doing a little bit better. I think Cage also wrestled at Sunday's Triple Mania show, which I'm going to cover independently probably tomorrow night. Do a YouTube video and post it. So I didn't want you to have to watch another 3 hours of Impact Wrestling. Because I knew you would have hated me. I knew it. I knew it in my soul. If I didn't make you hate me already, you would have. So Shera and Rohit take on Cage and Eddie in the actual match. Shera looked pretty good. I'm really excited to see Shera versus Cage. I don't need Shera to be dominant in that match. Just have a good outing. Because I feel like if Shera can have a good outing with Cage, who himself is not always the best worker, I feel like that's a good sign of where Shera is as a competitor. But overall, I thought this was a solid match and one that was good to have because it's finally got the world champion back on your television screen for the first time in 4 fucking months.
Yes.
3 months.
I agree. Again, I appreciate this is another weird kind of situation where it's like Brian Cage, world champion, finally back in action for the first time in months. Mm-hmm. So that's great. But then you also have the flip side of he's not supposed to be cleared until Bound for Glory. So it's just it's nonsense, but it's not deal breaking nonsense.
Right. And they even covered on commentary saying that his personal doctor backstage didn't clear him for this match. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah. Main event had TJP versus Michael Elgin. Pretty strong main event match. Not a big fan of either guy. TJP did a lot of submission holds and strikes, which I thought was pretty cool, and Elgin went straight power moves. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good main event considering. And while I would have been fine with Bonner Moose main eventing, I don't know if everyone would have been. So I guess it was the right call to make. Thoughts on the main event?
I agree that I can understand this being the main event out of all the other matches because you can look at these two and whether or not they technically should have a back and forth match like they did, they will probably put on the best match of the card. Mm-hmm. And you know they did not disappoint both men. While I don't have the same gripes with TJP that you do because I don't have that experience with TJP. Mm-hmm. My only real gripe with TJP is that he is a good and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all he's got. He's got flashy trunks, but he's got zero personality.
He's so personable.
And guess what? That's 99% of the industry, right? You do not stand out. But again, he's a good worker. Mike Elgin, for all his personal faults, he's a fantastic worker. So while the idea of putting TJP in the match with Elgin feels like it should be an upset, at one point you could also be the two of them will put on a solid matchup, and they did.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So overall, I would give Victory Road a B-.
Yeah.
I feel like that's fair.
I'll go with that.
I don't have a problem with every match not being some type of classic. Sometimes it's just about experiencing new talent. Right. And that's what these shows have to offer. And I'm a sucker for meeting new talent. So if you're watching or reading Larry Zonka's 411 Mania review, keep in mind that part of the experience for these shows is to see new talent, to experience new talent, to find new people to like. That is a huge aspect of these shows. It's not just about the in-ring quality. And I feel like anyone who grades wrestling specifically on in-ring quality is missing the grander point. I don't need a 40-minute Rock Triple H match. You could tell the same story in 2 minutes as you do in 40. Now, and now every circumstance is different. Like, I don't want to go into Wrestle Kingdom and see Okada versus Tanahashi end in 90 seconds. That's not why I'm here, fam. Like, go 90. Go 110 minutes. Go 68 hours. Entertain me. But in TV on these special shows, yeah, I don't mind that. So,
yeah,
Larry Tonka needs to pull his stuck uppity ass, head out of his stuck uppity ass, I should say. Pull your stuck up head out of your uppity ass. There we go. I said it right.
There you go.
Nailed it.